There is no known direct link between this particular shipment ammunition and the Ukrainian battlefield, and in customs documents Poly Technologies describes the powder as for the assembly of foreign-style hunting cartridges. On two separate occasions last year, train cars carrying tens of thousands of ammunitions enough to make at least 80 million rounds of ammunition collectively rumbled across the Sino-Russian border in the remote town of Zabaykalsk. But countries like China, India, the United Arab Emirates, Kyrgyzstan and Turkey stepped in to provide Russian goods with everything from mundane products like smartphones and cars to aircraft parts and ammunition. The munitions had been delivered by Poly Technologies, a state-owned Chinese company to which the United States has previously imposed sanctions on global sales of missile technology and providing support to Iran. His destination was the Barnaul Cartridge Factory, an ammunition factory in central Russia with a history of supplying the Russian government. This previously unreported shipment, identified by Import Genius, a US-based trade data aggregator, raises new questions about the role China has played in supporting Russia as it struggles to seize Ukrainian territory. US officials have expressed concern that China could funnel products to Russia that would aid its war effort, known as lethal aid, though they have not outright said China has made such shipments. Speaking from Beijing on Monday, Antony J. Blinken, the US Secretary of State, said China had assured the United States that it was not providing lethal aid to Russia for use in Ukraine, and that the US administration has not seen anything at this time. To refute it, experts say Poly Technologies' shipments to the Barnaul cartridge plants since the invasion, which have totaled nearly $2 million, according to customs records, have been a lethal aid. According to customs records, Poly Technologies intends the shipment to be used in the types of ammunition fired by Russian Kalashnikov assault rifles and sniper rifles. William George, Director of Research at Import Genius, said that Poly Technologies might be towing the exact line of what constitutes lethal aid to Russia, but the implications of the shipment are clear. When shipping large quantities of gunpowder intended for the manufacture of military cartridges to a country at war, it is not unreasonable to imagine that the finished product will not be used to lethal effect on the battlefield, said Mr. George. In recent months, US officials have also privately contacted Chinese financial institutions to discuss the risks of facilitating the evasion or circumvention of sanctions and export controls. But Brian Carlson, a Sino-Russian expert and head of the global security team from the think tank at the Center for Security Studies, said that while such shell casings could be used for hunting, this was rare. These are military cartridges, he said. Most modern firearms and other weapons used by soldiers and civilians alike rely on smokeless powders to propel the bullet to its target. When the trigger is pulled, the firing pin hits the back of the ammunition cartridge, igniting the powder, which burns very quickly and forces the bullet down the barrel of the firearm. Both state-owned and private Chinese companies have been selling Russian products that could reasonably be used by civilians or the military, including drones, semiconductors, hunting rifles, navigation equipment and aircraft parts. China remains officially unaligned in the war. Officials there argue Beijing is neutral and a peacemaker. In practice, however, China has become an important diplomatic, economic and security partner for Russia, having proclaimed a borderless partnership early last year. In an April address in Washington, Treasury Secretary Janet L. Yellen called the partnership a worrisome indication that China was not serious about ending the war. And he warned that the consequences for China for providing material support to Russia or helping to evade sanctions would be severe. Chinese companies have choices to make, Wally Adeyemo, Deputy Finance Minister, said in an interview on Fox Business TV earlier this month. They can provide Russia with material support for their military and continue to do business with an economy that represents maybe $2 trillion and is getting smaller, or you can continue to do business with the rest of the world. Poly Technologies is one of China's largest arms exporters. It produces equipment for police and military forces, including weapons, personal protective equipment, explosives and missile systems. It drew criticism in recent decades for shipping small arms to Zimbabwe. In recent years, they have shipped arms shipments to Pakistan, Sri Lanka and Nigeria, according to records accessed via the Sayari graph, a mapping tool for corporate ownership and commercial relationships. Parent company Poly Technologies has dozens of subsidiaries in industries such as real estate and film production, including operating one of the world's largest auction houses. Barnaul products have been common on American shelves in recent years, including ammunition for military-style rifles, shotguns, and American pistols. The goods entered America through several importers, including MKS Supply, LLC, a wholesale distributor of ammunition in Dayton, Ohio.